Hi, welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. This is going to be a 3 looks, 1 palette with the Oydens Norns palette. The packaging is absolutely stunning. It's very textured. I really do think that they killed it on the packaging, although the hollow words are a little bit hard to see, so I wish they were black. But yeah, other than that, the packaging is A+. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this palette. I'm not going to discuss those mixed feelings during this video, I don't think. I think I'm going to disclose those during like my ranking my last 10 palette video, which should be coming up soon-ish. I only have 3 more palettes I need to try before I hit 10. And anyways, this is the color story, and as always, let me know which look was your favorite. I think my favorite look was the 3rd look. For this first look, I am starting off with Outsider, and I am placing that on my outer V area, and I am winging it out. This formula is your standard matte. This is what I would call your standard matte. I find that their regular mattes, are not as pigmented, but they are buildable. Does that make sense? It's not like in your face pigment, but it builds okay to the color that you want, if that makes sense. And then the next shade that I'm going into is that mist shade, and I'm placing that on the other portion of my eyelid and up to my brow bone. This shade is also your standard, matte. It's powdered, it's your normal matte. I like this shadow. I think both of them performed fine. They did not fade or anything throughout the day. Again, it's a buildable. You have to build it to get it to look like it does in the pan, but it's buildable, and some people like that formula. So the next shade I'm going to use is Dazed, and I'm just placing that on my outer V area. I don't know why I did that, but I did, and it's your standard matte formula as well. And then I decided that I was going to do a cut crease because I really wanted the shimmers to stand out the most, so I figured I would use some concealer. So I'm going to go into that hallucinogen shade, and I'm going to place it on the first outer portion of my eye. This shimmer is very pretty. I do recommend using a glitter primer, which is something I discovered after doing all of these looks, is that these shimmers really do need a primer because you will have little bits of glitter all over your face if you don't. And the next shade I went into is that Self shade, and it's beautiful. I think these shimmers were nice. They're a thinner formula, and with lots of glitter in it. I went to that mist shade, and I placed it on the bottom lash line, because I felt like that would be a good option. And then I went into that, I think it's called Charming shade, and I placed it on my inner bottom lash line area. I wanted to try and use most of the colors in this palette for this video. I didn't end up using all of them. I think I missed 2. Then I took that pink Charmeleon shade and I placed it on my inner corner. This is a stunning duochrome, potentially multi-chrome, I'm not sure, but it is probably my favorite in the palette. It's gorgeous. It shifts from pink to gold to green, or pink to green. It's absolutely stunning, and it doesn't have as much glitter bukkake falling all over from it. This is a finished look. I thought it was okay. It was pretty. It was kind of bright, kind of airy. If I was to do a Libra look, that's what I'd describe this as, in my opinion. But yeah. So now I'm going to go into that Pragmastic, or whatever that shade is called, and of course I'm an idiot and I'm out of the camera, sorry about that. And I'm just placing that all over my eyelid. This brown is your standard matte. Again, buildable. I feel like this one took even more building than the other mattes, and it's just not my favorite. I really didn't like this shadow. I have better matte browns. I felt like it took a lot of working up to get to what it looks like in the pan. And it's not my favorite type of formula. So I'm just, keeping it real. It did turn out nice, and this look I got the most compliments on. I mean, like, people don't normally compliment my looks at work because they're used to seeing my makeup, but for whatever reason, everybody kept telling me my makeup looked really nice. I go into that mist shade and I use it to blend out the edges. There's not a whole lot of matte shades in this palette, so I felt a little bit limited, but I knew that when I purchased the palette. I purchased this palette because it had the most shimmers in it, and that was the formula that I wanted to try out most, because that's what I feel like most people say is their standout. So I took that Dazed shade and I placed it like on my brow bone. Then I went into that Glamour shade and I placed it on my eyelid. And I really like this shimmer. It's really pretty. Again, I didn't use a glitter glue, and I should have, and I really recommend that you do. And I also find that these shimmers don't pick up very well on a brush, which is why I used my fingers. So a glitter primer might help if your brush has some of the glitter primer on it or whatever, but I'd also be afraid of that creating hard pan, because I've already hit hard pan. Yep, I have. I went into that amber something shade. Sorry, it's really hard to see the names. And I placed that in my inner corner. And then I took Passion and I placed that on my bottom lash line. Now this is like a satin putty or cream. It's like a cream shadow with a satin finish. Yeah, that would be the best way that I would describe it. It's very heavily pressed into the palette too. So I decided to take ColourPop's Renegade pressed glitter and place that on my outer edge. This is probably cheating for 3 Looks 1 palette videos. Sorry, you don't have to do this. Plus glitter isn't eye safe, but I really wanted a kind of a transition to that brown, and I felt like this would be a good transition from that goldy orange to the brown. And this is the finished look. Yeah, people really like this look. I feel like it's kind of Christmassy and I liked it, but it's a little, it's not amazing in my opinion. So I go into that colorful black. This is the same formula as that Passion shade. It's a putty or a cream. I want to say it's a cream shadow. I don't know. It's not a powder. It's a cream. I don't like their cream shadows. I don't like the way it blends. This colorful black has micro glitters in it. It's kind of a satiny shade. I wish it was just a regular matte black. And their powdered mattes were not very pigmented, so I don't know if they try to get more pigment by using like a cream formula. I have no idea. But yeah, it's a cream, and the glitters in it does not really show up, which I'm good with. I don't want the glitters in it, but it does come off a little satiny on the eye. As you see, it's not a matte. I think naming it Colorful Black was an interesting choice because it's really not a colorful black, but whatever. So I also threw that on my bottom lash line, and I kind of struggled with this shade. I really did. I don't know what else to say. It's an interesting formula. Yeah. So, and I switched brushes for my bottom lash line. So then I went into Dazed and tried to use that to blend out those edges. And as you see, that Dazed kind of like stuck to that black, and it stuck to it because it's a cream formula. It's kind of wet, and it's not like a cream to like dry. I don't feel like it dries out. Does that make sense? I don't know. I still need to use this palette more because I have a lot of thoughts on it. Um, this is my favorite look though, by the way. Like, I think I said that. You have to let me know what your favorite is, but I did like how it ended up turning out to look, but it's not my favorite black to work with. Alright, alright. As you see, I'm trying to brown the edges out and struggle, and it doesn't really pack on, and it's weird, okay? So I decided to take that passion and try to throw it on top, and then I decided that's not what I wanted to do, and I went into that green Charmeleon shade and I placed it on my eyelid. And this is the reason why I wanted the black base, was to have some of the shimmers kind of like show up even more, because I really like what shimmers look like on a black base. And yeah, I loved it. And then I took that silver, it's called Optimism, and I placed it on my inner corner portion of my eye, and it's just those two colors together with that black base. It's really pretty, and the shimmers are really intense, and if they didn't fall out, you wouldn't need a glitter glue. I took that Amber Palace or whatever that shade's called and placed it on my bottom lash line on the inner portion, and then I took that pink Charmeleon and I placed it on my inner corner. And because this shifts sort of green, it looked so good, I think, with the shimmer choices. And this is the finished look. I really liked it. I don't know, I just couldn't stop staring at my eyes. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye.